afternoon, I'm Isaiah Jacob. In college hoops, the NCAA has initiated the final steps to expand the men's and women's March Madness tournaments to 76 teams. The expansion, which has been discussed for well over a year, is on track to be formalized in the next few weeks and will begin this coming season. In NBA action, the Cavaliers continue their first-round series with the Toronto Raptors at 7:30. The Cavs back at home after dropping games 3 and 4 on the road, tying the series at 2-2. In baseball, the Guardians are in action at 1:10, taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Gavin Williams will be on the mound for Cleveland. The Reds hosting tonight at 6:40 against the Colorado Rockies. Brandon Williamson will be pitching for Cincy. This update is sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit SleepBetterColumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, welcome back. Wet and Wild Wednesday here on The Fan. Rothman and Ice, Anthony Rothman, Matty Ice Hayes, and we have a loose cannon in the building. Boys, how we doing?
What up, what up? You know I'm good. You mentioned the weather. This is right up my alley. This is a beautiful day through the lens of Matty Ice right now.
How would you like to be Eric Reeser right now, exiting at noon on a rainy day, go home,
just
put the legs up, cuddle up with the dog, a little Netflix, and just let the afternoon kind of meander the way it's going to.
It's not a bad gig. It's not a bad gig.
You had to come back as something in life.
Okay.
And, reincarnate. It might be one of the Friends.
So Baker
It might be one of the Friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
They got some other stuff that they have to tap into every once in a while. Like, he's got to fill in for Bob Taylor, who voices all of our commercials when Bob is out. But on a day like today, when you just slide out of here and you're straight to the crib,
man.
Sign me up for
fantastic.
that. Sign me up for that. How you feeling, though?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
Do you guys want to get your daily rousini? Are you guys interested in the Anthony Rothman's daily rousini?
Rousini. Sure, why not? What's happening now?
We probably need a sound effect for the daily rousini. I don't. Maybe I just played it. Maybe that is it. The daily rousini. So now they're going back and doing the football breadcrumbs.
Okay.
We're kind of done with at least for now, with the Vrabel breadcrumbs on when the relationship started, how it went lazy rivered its way to now, and when she was, quote, covering Titan games and timelines and all that.
Okay.
When they were going to find time to see each other, allegedly.
Because yesterday, the latest was the Spotify playlist.
Yeah, the shared playlist.
She sent him
Van
a playlist.
Halen, Running with the Devil, or whatever they were doing.
Some songs that would make him feel good. Maybe cheer him up if he was having a bad day.
You think the Van Halen song was Running with the Devil? You guys probably have never heard that. I probably went too old school on you there. Because I came up with...
The Simple Life Ain't So Simple.
Love Bites, Pour Some Sugar on Me.
I know that one.
Love Bites is a good one, too.
But I'm just saying the playlist could have there could have been even some more signs in the playlist.
Okay. Yeah, I can't say that I've been spinning a lot of Van Halen in my life. Like when she was mentioning some of the Beyonce songs she was sending over there to him. That's more of my lane. The Van Halen's for you guys. I don't know too much about Van
Hagar. All right, so here's the daily rousini. So now she is facing rumors of intentionally stirring up or tanking some trade situations, information that she would put out. So one player who's practically guaranteed to be on the move is going to be A.J. Brown.
He's a Packer.
Of the Eagles, right? Well, okay. You took me right where I wanted to go. So it was even reported that the Patriots would be eventually getting him, like you said, after June 1st, though, for cap reasons. Matty doesn't like.
But there's also no tampering that happens either. Like that's what they tell us. There's no tampering, but he's already attached to another team.
So now the question is, did she help stir up drama in Philly in order to help Vrabel reunite with A.J. Brown? Now, a lot of you might say, well, it doesn't take anything for that to happen. He wants out and they want him. But over the course of the season, you know how AJ's relationship with the Eagles kind of started to go downhill, right? I mean, there were plenty of reports about behind-the-scenes drama,
we saw it with
frustration.
our own eyes, right?
We did see it with our own eyes, him reading the books and all that.
Barking back and forth with Sirianni and all that. Yeah,
but guess who was reporting a lot of it?
Diana Rossini.
Yeah, that's right. So now some are wondering whether she intentionally stirred the pot leading to this fractured relationship, the potential trade with the Patriots. And so here's the rumor that there's a bigger problem with this whole Rossini-Vrabel situation. And this is what you've always said, like, would the NFL look into this? Why aren't they looking into it? Yes, it's a private matter between two people in their personal lives. The NFL probably has nothing to do with it. Goodell's on the record so far as saying right now it doesn't fall under the personal conduct policy for him. And the bigger problem here is potentially weaponizing tampering. So if you look into how Rossini's been reporting over the past 6 to 8 months, a lot of people believe that something is way off, that she was the one who started that entire narrative that A.J. Brown was annoyed in Philly, that she cited a league source who was pushing the idea that A.J. Brown wanted out of Philly and constantly linked him to the Pats. And the fact that almost every article that Rossini wrote linked A.J. to the Patriots, and now people saying that smells bad. So this analyst, Thomas R. Peterson, followed this up by saying Rossini and Vrabel colluded on a coordinated media storm against the Eagles for the past year, trying to stir as much conflict as possible, often while no other reporter had anything on the Eagles. And then he's like, Roseman and Lurie should go hard after both of them. In fact, he wrote losers. What makes it worse is that this isn't even the first allegation that Rossini and Vrabel potentially colluded in order to land a big receiver. So you guys know that before Vrabel was the head coach of the Pats, he was with Tennessee. Years ago, the Titans traded for Julio Jones. After Rossini reported the Falcons were offered a first-round pick for him, the Titans were a long shot to land him. Now, however, the Falcons weren't even offered a first-rounder. So Mike Florio argues that Rossini purposely chilled the market for Julio Jones, meaning teams became less interested because they didn't want to pay a first-rounder for Julio Jones. So she was putting it out there that they demanded a first-rounder. It chilled the market, and the Titans swooped in and got him for a second round and a fourth round. So how did that reporting potentially help the Titans? Like I said, it put out the word that the Falcons had been offered a first-round pick, which could have sent that effect to any team that may have been considering offering a second-round pick. And calling the Titans a long shot allowed them to maneuver quietly for Jones. That's what Florio wrote. So everyone's saying now that given the relationship between Vrabel and Rossini, it's not crazy or reckless to wonder whether her reporting over the years has directly been connected in an effort to help Vrabel on the best possible terms.
Okay. I think what's the right Thomas Jefferson? Who's the writer? Thomas, who's writing this again?
Jefferson was saying
Thomas Jefferson did write something.
We got to leave this England place because it's bogus.
I think this guy is giving Diana Rossini way too much credit.
But if we don't get some cool rules ourselves pronto, we'll just be bogus too. All right, so you believe that this is complete conspiracy.
Well, what was the movie, though, real quick? Because you just went into
I did.
Fast Times.
That's ding. Give him something today, boys. Come on. There we go. Out of the gate. The kid's 1 for 1 with a leadoff home run.
I'll take it.
Leadoff jack.
Do you think that she's a needle mover like that?
You don't think? I don't know. Okay, there's two parts of that. One, whether she did it on purpose, and two, whether it had any effect. Those are two very different things. I'm a very big believer, and that a lot of her information was being given to her by Vrabel.
I would not
and part
be
of
surprised.
The narrative would be to what would help him the most.
Okay, I wouldn't be surprised if she was trying to help him out.
Yeah.
But I don't think I just don't believe that she is affecting a trade market for any player. Based off of her throwing out a report, whether it was on ESPN or wherever she's been at the Athletic. Or
you don't think she may have created a false narrative to help Vrabel and his teams over the years.
I think
including this A.J. Brown to the Pats.
I think that may have been the intent, but I don't think she's the reason why.
All right. I don't believe it is the A.J. Brown stuff because he's done a lot to fracture things himself.
Correct.
I don't think, because if that weren't true, the Eagles could have silenced that immediately, and so could he have.
Yeah. I'm curious at this point where Roger Goodell is with this, because this story is loud. And it is one of the faces of a franchise that is a Mount Rushmore franchise in the NFL. I don't think he's going to step in, but if there are more things that come out, because the 2020 picture surprised us all, at least me. I was not expecting that at all. If somebody else has more to where they continue to roll out pictures or videos or whatever it may be, then I think as the commissioner, you probably have to step in and do something at that point. If this is it, then maybe this is a wrap and this will be in the wind and he'll be able to just do his thing. But if it gets louder, AR, I think Roger may have to do something.
You're downright. I'm going to do something. What's that from?
The Godfather.
No, but in that realm.
Scarface.
I'm going to do something.
Scarface.
Yes, Scarface.
Fired again.
My goodness.
I don't know.
I mean, that was a foul ball.
I'll take it.
Maybe. I mean, that's technically 2 for 2 if we give him the foul tip on the first guess.
Okay.
Florio has called ESPN to review all of Rossini's old reporting to look for more examples of fishy stories.
Okay. And it will come out.
And now the NFL Network, to my knowledge, owns 10% of ESPN, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, so there's a lot of just in this crock pot now. And that is your daily Rossini.
Appreciate you. Great job.
All
Great job, AR.
We're going to come back, and we'll stick with potential conspiracies for 1,000, and Florio's on this one as well. We'll give you that when we come back. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Colin Man here for Hollywood Casino Columbus.
Oh, Mikey, did you know something new is coming and it's right around the corner?
What is it?
Now you can stay while you play. It's the all-new Hollywood Casino Columbus Hotel. It's coming June 12th, and we want you to celebrate with us as we open the doors with a can't-miss concert and festival.
And here's something for you this month. It's the Win Your Way drawings on select Wednesdays and Saturdays. You can score $100,000. Plus, coming in May, it's the Hollywood Tribute Concert Series.
Ooh, must be 21 to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Friday, May 1st, the Columbus Aviators take the field at 8 p.m. and the first 5,000 fans score a Jim Tressel bobblehead. Get your tickets at uflaviators.com.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending, the original home of the no-cost mortgage. If you've been in the market for a new home or just wanted to take advantage of lower rates, recent events have shown exactly why Miller Lending chose to offer a way around bad timing with our no closing cost program. With no fees rolled in or charged, including the cost of title insurance, you can simply close on today's rates and refinance free of charge as rates improve. Over the past several months, we spoke to numerous borrowers who had heard rates were coming down and chose to wait. We explained that if rates did fall, you could simply update a few documents and refinance again, but why take the chance? So when rates spiked a 0.5% recently, not only was I disappointed that we couldn't help those who waited, but also for those buying a home who just saw a sharp increase to their monthly payment. So while we can't control the market, we can offer an alternative. Eliminate timing and say goodbye to closing costs forever. 877-9-NO-COST, or simply apply online at nocostmortgage.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
Get Eco.
When your drain is clogged, our drain team will clear it for just $93.
If we can't clear it, it's free.
And we guarantee it will stay clear for at least a year, or we'll clear it again for free.
Get Eco.
Go to geteco.com.
It always seems to happen at the worst time. You're finally in bed after a long, hard day, and then you hear it. You sit up, heart sinking. Is that coming from the ceiling? All of a sudden, it's a middle of the night flashlight hunt to find the leak. But don't worry, Newman Roofing has you covered, literally. With more than 3 decades in the business, we've seen just about everything a storm can throw at a roof. Our teams know how to spot the problem, explain your options, and fix it right the first time, with craftsmanship and care you can feel good about. We're not just here for a quick patch job, and we never will be. We're here to make sure your home stays protected season after season. So when it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, choose the company you can trust, Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Who's Vice President J.D. Vance's pick for Ohio Treasurer? America First conservative Jay Edwards. As the first state lawmaker to endorse Donald Trump for president, Jay Edwards has been on the front lines, standing up to the rhinos and leftists since day one. Now, we need a MAGA fighter who protects our Ohio tax dollars as our treasurer. And that's what Jay Edwards has always done. He sponsored the largest tax cut in Ohio history, saving families over $3.1 billion. Jay Edwards has never been afraid to do what's right and fight for our values. That's why he's a 100% pro-life and 100% pro-gun conservative, earning the highest possible rating from Ohio gun owners. He's the proven America First leader we need to clean up fraud and keep our money safe. Endorsed by J.D. Vance. Jay Edwards for Ohio Treasurer.
Paid for by Friends of Jay Edwards.
Skip Mussick has been on the Fan for nearly 80 years, and during that time, he's worn many hats. Executive producer for Ohio State Athletics, talk show host, private detective when Ron Stokes loses his phone.
Somebody do something!
He's done it all. But his proudest accomplishment, host of Tee to Green. If it has anything to do with golf in Central Ohio, Skip's on it. Cheers to the next 80-year skipper. And listen to Tee to Green Saturday mornings at 9 here on The Fan. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll still see some chances of isolated showers and thunderstorms on and off throughout the day. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and cooler with highs only in the low 60s. We turn mostly cloudy tonight with lows down into the 40s. And then for Thursday, mostly sunny but much cooler with highs only in the mid to upper 50s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The most wonderful people in the history of Western civilization. Rothman Ice, 97.1 The Fan. It doesn't get any better than this.
Thank you, Bill. From the grave.
We'll bring him back to life like he's Jon Snow. That's what we did there.
He's become very spiritual on the show. All right, so we talked about the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers yesterday. I'll admit, and you guys heard me, at first I'm like, all right, this may be something that Rodgers and the Steelers are good with, both of them doing this. But, then I kind of moved off of that to thinking, all right, just good business. Steelers have to cover themselves. The summer of Rodgers is upon us soon, and who knows when he's going to make his decision.
Again.
And
I feel like we've had a few summers of Rodgers over like the last 5 years, like the end of the Packers stuff, and then the Jets stuff, and then last year, and now this year again. Like this, and then he's always doing the McAfee stuff too. So he likes to be talked about. He likes to be in the mix. His ego is one of the bigger egos in the sport. For sure.
And he's 42. So here's an easy way, and we'll play the Florio stuff because I thought he had a really good take on this. Actually, let's play that first.
Okay.
So this is, and we'll have Schefter on at 12:30 because there's been a little bit of
the rivalry between Florio and Schefter. Is that what you're?
No, I didn't think we're gonna. Let's bring them on together. Throw some pool cues down on the floor.
What did Cardell Tate really run? Go.
Yeah.
Schefter came out with the receipts, man. He wasn't playing
Schefter
around.
might have gotten him boosted up to fourth. All right, so here's Mike Florio on the shakeup when the Steelers opted to place an unrestricted free agency tender on a 42-year-old man, and now everyone's trying to scramble a little bit for answers on what the motive is. Here's this.
No one seems to know why the Pittsburgh Steelers applied the seldom used unrestricted free agency tender on quarterback Aaron Rodgers. The Steelers may not even know why they did it, but I know this. Rodgers won't like it. because it's a collective bargaining agreement chess move. It's the Steelers taking advantage of one of the rules that are available to them to better position themselves for compensatory draft pick consideration. That's not how Rodgers and the Steelers have done business. It's all handshakes. It's a below-market contract. He'll perceive that they're playing games with him. So here's the question. Do they want him to perceive that? Is this their way to get off the Aaron Rodgers ride? To get him to say, I'm not coming back, without them having to say, we're really not interested in continuing this? Because I continue to believe, truth be told, new coach Mike McCarthy would prefer to move on without his former Packers quarterback.
Okay. Good take. Strong take. A different take. But there's another way to do this. Just say no.
We're good.
Now, I'm not going to begrudge the Steelers for using the rules as their friend. And if they can get a compensatory pick, if Rodgers signs with another team after July 22nd, that's fine. But I feel like if they truly want to move on and rip the Band-Aid off and go with one of the younger quarterbacks, either the guy they drafted or the guy they have, or another guy that they have, their bag of cans or their other bag of cans, they could just say no. Thank you, Aaron. We wish you the best. But here they are. So I feel like their motive is to cover themselves in the next summer of Aaron. They probably want him. They certainly would want him at $13 or $15 million, like you said, below market. It gives them a higher floor. It allows a new drafted quarterback in Drew Aller to learn from a legend. They'd have him in the building. Not that Aaron has to play mentor, but they're going to pick up stuff and observation. And then it just doesn't turn into young quarterbacks and throw them into the deep end and see what happens. So I think they prefer Aaron in their locker room, especially at this price. But this covers themselves in case he wants to poke around and see if there's another spot. Then it also allows them to have a little bit of insurance policy while they're out twisting in the wind waiting for his decision.
I found it very interesting that at the end of that clip we just heard, that Florio was alluding to, well, maybe Big Mike doesn't even want him back.
I thought that from the very beginning.
Which to me wasn't even on my radar. Like, I thought he'd be good with that. Like, coming in, new head coach, want to set the tone with a franchise. You know Aaron Rodgers well. You know what you're probably going to get from him and where that's going to lead you to as a team out of the gate. And it's probably, 8, 9, 10 wins, something like that, which is a good start for a year one coach with a new team. But the fact that he threw that out there, I think, is interesting. Because I'm with you. Now I'm at a point to where it's like, why are you allowing this guy to just drag this out when you've already come out and, expressed your love for him multiple times, whether it was Rooney, whether it was Omar Khan, whether it was Mike McCarthy. So he knows that. He knows how we feel about him line's been dropped a few times. And then the other part of this, too, is it's like the guy's not very good anymore. He's just not very good anymore.
But is he better than what they have?
Maybe.
They're the Steelers.
I don't think
they don't like to be a bottom feeder.
And it's not definitive in my mind that right now he's better than Will Howard.
Will they win more games with him?
Probably, but they don't need to do that. And that's the problem in all of this right now. And so McCarthy, if that's where his mindset is, to me, that's what he's thinking is, let's roll the dice for a year. I know they're not going to fire me after 1 year. And if we go out there and we have a dud of a season and we get to pick from Dante Moore, Arch, Julian, whoever it's going to be, that's the world that I think he wants to live in. And I think that's the world they should want to live in. But this is kind of getting to a point now to where it is foolish for me. And I do like that the Steelers have covered themselves in a way, because where else is he going to go, honestly? Because if you're a team that's in rebuild mode right now,
they don't think they're in true rebuild.
No, I'm saying another team, right? Like another team. So say you're the Jets or the Cardinals or teams that probably aren't going to be racking up a whole bunch of dubs this year. Why would you want to upset that by bringing in Aaron Rodgers and win 3 to 4 more games and take yourself out of the mix to get one of these quarterbacks that's coming out next year? So I don't even think he really has anywhere to go that would make sense.
I don't think Mike McCarthy doesn't like Aaron Rodgers, even though we had heard rumors in Green Bay that, it was
a little static between the two, yeah.
I don't think he truly doesn't like him. I think if you're Mike McCarthy, you'd want to know about your future sooner than later versus just having a little bit of a higher floor with Rodgers.
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy just got hired. He's not going to get fired this year if Will Howard isn't good.
Correct.
Or if Drew Aller doesn't turn out.
Right.
Like, they'll just pivot again. And by the way, being bad is also being good because it gets them higher in the 2027 draft, which is where they might want to be. It's really better business for them not to have Aaron Rodgers come back.
100%.
I agree. In the long term, if you're thinking long term,
absolutely,
let's just find out what you got.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have no idea whether, if Rodgers had already said, I'm coming back, do they draft Drew Aller?
I think they do.
Probably. They probably felt they had to there, or maybe somebody else would get him. And by the way, he'll be 43 during the season.
Yeah.
This is not going anywhere. It really isn't, unless they're just all about competing and making the playoffs and getting playoff money and selling tickets, or they're just the history of the Steelers, or it's what I said about a legend veteran guy with a couple younger quarterbacks, and that's a better room than just having what they have.
They're in the worst place you can be as a franchise, to me. One of the worst places. And that's just in the middle. You know what the Steelers are? The Steelers are that friend they are that you see in a relationship that may be a little toxic, or they're not, getting the best from their partner. And it's kind of like, you need to just leave. But they keep going back and they keep dragging out the relationship, and it's not really doing anybody any good. That's how I feel about the Steelers right now, just in this relationship. It's not going to come back to haunt you. We know that. He ain't going anywhere and winning multiple playoff games, let alone a Super Bowl.
Where else could he go that he'd be guaranteed in a way to start?
Arizona, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Nowhere else. I think in Miami. Miami just committed money to Malik Willis. I don't think he's guaranteed the job if he goes down there.
My boy.
And he doesn't even want to go down there with the lack of weapons they got going on. So he has nowhere to go.
Here are the Steelers' going back to
COVID.
Lost in wild card to the Browns. Oof. That was rough.
Without
their head coach.
Thanks.
48-37 in a shootout. Not the curtain that not your dad's
I wouldn't call that a shootout. I think we were down 28-0 in the first quarter.
But it was 48-37.
That was closer. The scoreboard was closer than the game.
Lose to the Chiefs, 42-21, wild card.
Yeah.
Then miss the playoffs at 9-8. Losing a wild card at the Bills, 31-17. Losing a wild card at the Ravens, 28-14. Losing a wild card to the Texans, 30-6. This is who they are.
And C.J. Stroud sucked, too, and we still couldn't do anything.
Get in and lose. Get off that train.
They have to. Just for one lap around the track. Just get off that train and see what you got. But I don't think Rooney wants to do that.
Rooney.
I can't imagine a lot of owners want to do that.
Maybe this move will be what Florio says, which will help them pivot a little bit. Maybe they are rooting for the compensatory pick. Maybe they call up Diana Rousini and have her get a narrative out there that there are some landing spots for Rodgers.
Hey, man, it is a Mike roaming the sidelines for that team, too.
We come back in 2 minutes with our boy Schefter. That's next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Get comfortable with Logan Services. Get a free water heater with the purchase of a qualifying train system when you schedule your installation now. Find us online to schedule your free estimate. Fast, friendly service, Logan Services.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven.
I feel valued as a member. They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
I'm Meredith Garfalo, meteorologist at 10 TV News This Morning, and I'm an Ohio girl. I love golf, aerospace, and all things Ohio sports. For nearly 20 years, I've studied the patterns that shape our days, from winter wonders on the south side to dangerous storms along the I-71 corridor. When the weather changes, you'll be the first to know, because you need a forecast that moves as fast as you do. Make the move to 10 TV News this morning, weekdays from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Bring your landscape back to life with an unbeatable deal from Ohio Mulch. 5 bags of premium mulch for just $10. You choose from absolute black, brown, or red to make your flowers pop and your curb appeal shine. Visit ohiomulch.com to find a location near you.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone here for Window Nation. Spring is a great time to open your windows and wait. Your windows won't open? They leak, they're cracked, or maybe they need repainting? Again, getting top quality custom fit windows from Window Nation is both easy and affordable. During the More You Buy, the More You Save sale, you could save up to 50% off. Plus, you could get them with 0 interest for 5 years. During uncertain times, one of the best investments you can make is in your home. So visit windownation.com to book your consultation now.
Rothman Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
NFL Playbook with ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys. For all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs, contact the Roofing Guys at theroofingguys.com.
All right, post-draft edition, the one and only Adam Schefter, the senior NFL insider with us. What a weekend it was in Pittsburgh, my man. Good to have you. How you feeling?
Great to be with you guys. Thank you for having me today.
All right, your report, give you full credit. Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers, is this just good business? Are they trying to leverage anything here, just kind of cover themselves? I thought it was a very good business decision. How do you feel like this will impact things with Rodgers?
First of all, I would never and could never speak for him because you never know with him, right? But it's funny because I did have a team call me yesterday say, how come the Steelers did this? This might upset Aaron Rodgers. Now, maybe it won't. Maybe it had no bearing on him whatsoever. But there was a team out there that said that to me yesterday, that they think that can be the kind of thing that kind of upsets him and disappoints him. Now, I think he's got such a good relationship with Mike McCarthy that I don't expect it to be a problem. But again, you never know how these things go, and you have to see how they perform and play out over time. But I think it'll be okay. But again, with him, there's always mystery.
Yeah, so let's go through his options here, right? Because he could sign with another team. Now, Pittsburgh has the right to match that. And so that prevents him from being a true free agent here.
No. Pittsburgh does not have the right to match it.
They don't?
It does not. No. It does not have the right to match it, is my understanding.
Okay, so I thought the right of first refusal tender meant that they get the exclusive negotiating rights if he doesn't sign anywhere by July 22nd.
I changed the description of that after the initial tweet because the league office called to correct that. It's not called the right of first. I mistakenly had that wrong initially.
Okay.
And basically what it does do is it essentially preserves the Steelers' right to receive a compensatory draft pick in the event he signs with another team, and it also limits his ability to sign with another team once camp begins. So, in other words, if we get to the summer and he hasn't signed with another team, he is not allowed to sign with another team. He cannot do that.
Okay. All right. Okay, so he has until July 22nd if he wants to offer himself up to other teams, and then Pittsburgh, all they would get back if he makes that decision is a compensatory draft pick, which is good for them because why should they lose out completely? If they lose out on the player, this feels like a little bit of a consolation for them. All right, now let's go. Does he have any other options in your mind before July 22nd? What other teams would you think would be interested, if any?
I don't think so, but in this league, you never know, right? Like Minnesota, you would have thought might have been an option last year. Minnesota's signed Kyler Murray and re-signed Carson Wentz. So I don't see that as an option. Bo Nix is hurting Denver. Maybe if that ankle struggles, could that be an issue? Maybe. But I'm just not seeing. I'm not seeing another team where there's an obvious option and fit right now. That doesn't mean it can't be and can't happen. But I don't see that right now.
All right, Schefter, let's go out to L.A. and get your perspective on the Rams process and them ending up with Ty Simpson at 13, because that was one of the bigger surprises we saw all weekend, if not the biggest surprise. So walk us through that and when you started to really find out about the amount of love they had for him and that led to them taking him 13th overall.
Well, yeah, I think that when we were talking about the Rams and Ty Simpson, they would have liked to have traded back. That was probably the grand plan, move back in the draft, get an extra pick or two, still take Ty Simpson. But the truth of the matter is, to move back, you need somebody who wants to move up. And there wasn't somebody who was willing to move up in time. I was told the Rams phone never rang when they're on the clock. Nobody made an offer. Nobody's making an offer. You can't move out of that spot. It's hard to do, right? So they were stuck there, and that's kind of how it went.
So let's go to Eric DeCosta, because obviously one of the bigger stories this offseason has been the Max Crosby trade that was and then wasn't. And then Eric DeCosta comes out, Schefty, and throws out the quote that we had something on the table, but inexplicably they told us they changed their mind, meaning he wanted to trade down. And it sounds like there was a team that was ready to do business. But when he drops the word inexplicably, people are reading into that maybe that was a team kind of getting their revenge back to the Ravens and DeCosta. Do you read it that way? Have you heard anything about that?
No, I don't believe that. I think teams are always going to do what's best for them. We saw the Eagles and Cowboys trade picks because the Eagles wanted Malachi Lemon and the Cowboys wanted more picks so they could get Malachi Lawrence. So, I mean, teams are going to do what they want. They're going to say, oh, boy, that Eric DeCosta, boy, he didn't get that deal done. He didn't get that deal done with the Raiders, and he went back on it. Like, nobody knows what he saw on the MRI. He does. So I'm not buying that.
All right. You may not know this, but I'll ask it anyway, because this is like post-draft curiosity in me. Carnell Tate goes maybe a little early than people thought. He goes number 4. And we thought the Browns may have been in play for the former Buckeye receiver. We know they were going to address offensive line or receiver in whichever order. Did you hear anything on whether or not they were locked in on Fano the whole way, whether they were picking at 6 or moving back? Or if Carnell Tate was available at 6, would that have been interesting to you to see which way the Browns went?
No. We always thought it was going to be an offensive lineman early on at their first pick. And I don't think Tate being there would have changed things at all. I think the plan was Fano. In fact, when I was talking to a bunch of front offices and people I trust the day before, I have on all my notes, everybody said Fano going to the Browns, analytics. He hits all the analytics things. That's what they love. It's going to be like literally that came back to me in the 24, 48 hours leading up to the draft from multiple people, and that's exactly what happened.
What's the latest with Brandon Ayuk and the San Francisco 49ers? Because just a few years ago, this felt like that was a good marriage. They were on their way. He and Purdy could grow together, and now here we are, and it just seems like it's a mess. So what's the latest with Ayuk, Schefty, and where he will be when we get to the season?
Well, we don't think he'll be in San Francisco. We know that. And the question is when they're going to move on from him. And look, they paid him so much money that they want to try to get something back for him. The problem is that teams don't want to take on that contract, even though the guaranteed money in it was voided. So there's still a lot of money. They don't want to pay him that. Some teams have had a hard time reaching him, from what I understand. It's not a great situation, but we do know that San Francisco will move on from him. And a lot of people think he'll wind up in Washington with his former college teammate Jaden Daniels. That's certainly possible, but he's the Niners' property. And they're not in any rush to move off him unless they feel like they're getting something in return for him.
What do you think? What's your best guess prediction on George Pickens? I guess if he signs the tag, he'll be expected to attend training camp, but Cowboys, I guess, don't have any interest in trading him. So what do you think is going to happen here? Is this going to be a little bit of drama?
Well, I think there already is some drama. I think there could be more drama. And I just thought it was interesting that, again, we were told that he is signing his franchise tender right before the draft. I have to believe that there was some connection there to trying to get a trade worked up and finalized. And for whatever reason, that trade didn't happen during the draft. And now if the trade didn't happen, he hasn't signed yet. Now, again, if he wants to go sign today and end it all, fine. But why would he go sign that tag today? Tell me. Once he signs it, he's obligated to be, with the team during its mandatory activities, including training camp. And I just don't know why he would be signing that. Now, once he signs it, he can be traded, but Dallas has said it's not trading him. So I think it's almost, his agent has to see if he can find a trade partner, then convince Dallas to trade him. And that's not going to be easy. And it's the same agent that was with Micah Parsons in the Cowboys and now has DeMarion Overshawn. So there's a little drama there to play out, and there's a lot of different ways this still could go.
Got any favorite moment or story behind the scenes of the draft? Anything that will stick with you?
I just thought Pittsburgh did a great job hosting the draft. People there were incredibly gracious and kind. Record attendance. It was a nice setup. And I would say that next year in Washington, I would expect that to be maybe the most visually pleasing draft that we've seen on the Mall. In 2027, I think that's going to be a spectacle. I think the talent in the draft is going to be elevated. And I think next year's draft is going to take things to the next level.
And Omar Khan will wait till he's on the clock to call a prospect?
I would think that he will not make that mistake again.
Yeah. All right, my man. Great stuff. Get a little rest and relaxation. We'll talk to you next week.
Guys, thanks so much. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next week.
You got it. Adam Schefter on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. All right, we come back, and we have a new favorite coming out of minicamp up north. We'll give you those details next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Whatever you're doing right now, just know that Bo Bishop is enjoying a sip of bourbon. Even if this promo is playing in the morning, no judgment.
Sweet morning drinking.
The Fan.
There's an old story about cat toys that's been retold for over 20 years because it perfectly explains who we are. This is Dennis Sullivan, president of Care Heating and Cooling. Years ago, a couple who shared their house with 3 cats had another company out to look at their furnace. After working on it, the technician said it was dangerous and had to be replaced. The couple called Care for a second opinion, and my dad Mike went out to help them. When he inspected the furnace, the cause of the problem became obvious. A cat toy had been stuffed into the heat exchanger. With the toy removed, the furnace ran perfectly. Now, how did the toy get there? You can decide for yourself, but here's what mattered then and still matters now. The first company paid commissions to their service techs to sell new furnaces. At Care, we pay our technicians to fix furnaces, not sell you a new one. And if a new furnace is needed, our team of replacement specialists will advise you on all options available and help you make your best choice. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING when you need a company you can trust.
Hey, it's Austin Ward with a unique opportunity for you. The chance to drop 40 pounds by the 4th with Awaken 180. Fast results, sustainable results, medication-free, and free support for life. 40 by the 4th. This is your year. Awaken180weightloss.com.
For over 78 years, our family's been part of your love stories. At Diamond Seller, we offer bigger diamonds, better prices, and timeless designs for every chapter of your life. From your first yes to your forever I do, trust the jeweler who knows diamonds best. Visit Diamond Seller today.
Since we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see and hear lots of lawyer ads. It seems that most are bragging on what they got their clients. But be careful. If you heard that someone sold their car for $500,000, you would be impressed. But if you later learned that it was a rare $10 million Ferrari, would you say that person got screwed? And that's before you even know if it's true. Who is fact-checking? And how much went to medical bills and lawyers' fees? If you want to get an idea what your case may be really worth, visit forthepeople.com and go to settlements and verdicts. You will see what a law firm like ours is capable of. And fact-check for yourself. All that glitters is not gold. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won big, a lot. At Morgan & Morgan, we represent consumers. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Get your day started with T-Bone and Tybus weekday mornings from 6 to 9 here on The Fan. You think that a radio lifer and a national title winner wouldn't have much in common, but you'd be wrong. They're both girthy. They both love football, and they both get racially profiled for completely different reasons. It's like driving to work with your friends, except these friends give away tickets to things and talk to all the important people in town. Your actual friends are probably a bunch of losers. Well, anyway, listen to T-Bone and Tybus live on the Fan app, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Whoa. Okay, this one says you get a free phone if you switch. Hey, this one also says you get a free phone if you switch.
Yeah, they all do, hon.
Wait. The T-Mobile one says families saved over $3,700 versus the other big guys in the past 5 years. And their experience plans have Netflix included, plus a year of Dash Pass by DoorDash.
Hang on, let me see that. And a 5-year price guarantee? Oh yeah, we're switching.
That's what I'm talking about. Do we clap now, or?
I'm thinking high-five.
At T-Mobile, get savings that keep stacking up. That's value you can feel every day. Switch now at T-Mobile.
Savings based on Harris X billing snapshots from Q3 2021 to Q4 2025 among accounts with 3+ voice lines compared to AT&T and Verizon, excluding discounts, credits, and optional charges. See harrisx.com/T-Mobile. Price guarantee on talk, text, and data. Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com.
Have you ever met a man who wins money betting on tennis? Enter Scotty Vegas. Join Scotty and Dave Biddle for On the Money.
Presented by Ohio for Responsible Gambling.
Sunday mornings at 9 on The Fan.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Airflow Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
You have to understand you're listening to Rothman and Ice 97.1 The Fan. It's indubitable.
Stephen A. on the roster now. All right, so this isn't news. This is just speculation. The Browns haven't made any public thoughts known on their quarterback pecking order. This isn't the monk coming out and saying, all right, mini camp showed me a lot.
Got my guy.
We're back in business on Watson. But Mary Kay Cabot of Collusion.com reports that Deshaun came out of mini camp as the favorite to be the starter.
Yeah.
Watson and Shedeur both got first team work in those practices. Watson reportedly wound up with more reps with the starters. He's healthy. Installing a new offense under the monk. And he has a longer history of learning different schemes over the course of his career. The rest of the Browns' is skewing young, and the team values his ability to get those players in the right spots.
Mm-hmm.
So there's about 6 weeks left in the offseason programs. Shedeur has a chance to change the outlook, as Cabot writes, that the second-year player will, quote, have to dazzle the coaching staff to land atop the depth chart heading into training camp. A little bit of razzle-dazzle. A beautiful piece of razzle-dazzle. She's getting that from somewhere.
She's getting it from Todd Monken. That's how I'm reading this.
Why?
I think this is Mary Kay Cabot speaking for Todd Monken. Here's a
light a fire under my young quarterback.
Here's a couple sentences from the article she dropped shortly before we hopped on the air today. As you mentioned, Deshaun Watson emerged from the Browns' voluntary minicamp last week with an edge over Shedeur in the two-man quarterback competition and has the inside track to be named the Browns QB1, sources tell Cleveland.com. And then there's this, AR. Todd Monken hopes to declare or at least identify his starter by the end of Browns minicamp June 9th through the 11th, meaning Shedeur has about 6 weeks to close the gap and try to overtake the former three-time Pro Bowler. That, to me, is her getting that from Todd Monken. Because I don't think she's just throwing this out there willy-nilly. Hey, this is my opinion. This is how I feel like this is what's going on right now. No, I think she's getting this info from the head coach. And he is setting a tone. He already did where he came out and said, yeah, we're not doing the whole 50-50 reps thing. We're not doing that. So pairing that with this and him wanting to identify who the guy is here in the next month or two, I think we all know where this is headed now. And you and I kind of felt this way before any of this stuff came out, that it's going to be hard to ignore some of the things a veteran quarterback can do for your offense. You just touched on some of her reporting about, hey, man, we got 2 new wide receivers we're trying to get in the mix. We got a young running back coming back from an injury. We got a year 2 tight end as well. These guys that we're going to be relying on are guys that need to look to somebody that's been there and done that. And so this isn't over for Shedeur, but this is pretty definitive in my mind that she's throwing this out here on, April 29th, that Deshaun, at least for now, is the guy. And as Mike Tomlin put it about a year or 2 ago with Russell Wilson, that he has pole position to be the guy come week 1.
I don't really, you know where I stand on this. I think this is going to be very tough on Cleveland. If they win games, they'll be excited because they'll feel like, Haslam will feel like that the money he spent, that he can recoup some of it. He's the one who admitted not long ago it was a big swing and a miss. And now he's got to walk that back. Well, now we got a chance to win a home. Like he could go stay on the baseball terms. Like, all right, well, we were 0-2, down 0-2 in the count, and we still got a chance to hit a home run. Yeah. Fresh start, great chance. He was throwing out all those phrases. And if you're Haslam, I guess I don't blame him for thinking, hey, we traded a lot for this guy. It's not like he's 43. Now he's coming off injuries, though. And so I've always just been in the camp of thinking for Haslam, which is how good does Deshaun Watson have to look? What type of results do you need to go ahead and pour more money into him? And that's why, in my mind, I'm like, all right, I want to avoid this. I want to actually protect me from me. Because if he does play well, then, and he stays healthy, now most Browns fans might be saying, well, listen, if he plays well and we're winning games and he stays healthy, then what's the difference? Let bygones be bygones. We traded for him. He's still ours. He wants to be here. Yeah. Pay him more money, reinvest more money in him, and then maybe you've got something. Maybe he can turn into a closer version to his past than he was before. And he's also motivated, maybe. I think the good news on this for me, if you're a Browns fan, you're like, okay, well, Deshaun just didn't rob us. Like, he's trying to earn it. Mm-hmm. And maybe now, we're not at the end of the story yet. What if he plays so well and he's like, plays himself into another contract somewhere else? Then what did this year do for you? That's the only thing that I'm afraid of, is that he plays well enough to audition, somebody else likes him, and then what have the Browns done? Now they have to outbid somebody else for him?
What I think they've done is found their guy. If he plays well, he's your guy. If we're just talking strictly football, I think that's the answer. The other part of this, too, that I think will be interesting if we get to that point, that we're talking a solid amount of games from Deshaun, the dude plays well, all of that stuff, is the ghost of Baker Mayfield. And will that haunt Haslam and have any influence on that decision, the hypothetical that we're talking about? Because that was a guy you had in your building. We know how the end went down. He went elsewhere, and he's played some pretty good football. And I think that when you have that happen to you once before, if that comes back around and you're looking at a year of pretty good work from Deshaun, I don't think that's going to be an easy decision for them just to say, hey, we're good, because you've already been burned to a certain degree by one quarterback that you had that went elsewhere and has turned his career around. That's got to be a tough thing. I think that'll weigh on them mentally.
The funny part about all of this is that my mind was going to that they could spend a lot of money on their roster next year because he's gone. That's where I was going with this. Yeah. Like a lot of Browns were like, I can't wait till he's gone, because then we can spread his money out. We can spend some more money on the roster. We don't have to pour it all into him anymore. This is going to defeat that motivation, that this was all pointing to 2027, this build. Now, to your point, if they find out he can play still and he's healthy, then you found your guy and he's on your own team. Like, this is something like you lose something, you don't know where it is, and you think it's gone, you lost it, and somehow you find it in your car under a bunch of crap in the back, your Raiders T-shirt, something in my house, like the fact that I feel like some of my stuff made it to Goodwill that I didn't want going to Goodwill at that time.
Yeah. It's kind of like, hey, like...
And then I find it.
Or the friend that's always said, AR, like, I want to get married. I want to get married, right? then you've been with somebody, you break up, but then they come back into your life, and that's Deshaun. And that person and you have figured things out, and you're ready for marriage. But then you're kind of like, it's not exactly what I want in a partner. I'm going to go back out to the dating pool. But you're getting what you wanted. And as a Browns franchise,
maybe
fan base,
a lesser version.
You wanted to have a starting quarterback or a wife or a husband. Go ahead and propose. I don't think that's going to happen. What's ideal is them to be picking high next year and grabbing one of these young quarterbacks and starting there. But you can't just tell a guy.
He's going to be a free agent next year. He could easily say, thanks for the platform. I appreciate you starting me because guess what? It allowed me to audition for all these other teams.
He would obviously have to have a team that has an opening and all of that.
There's always an opening.
I just don't think you got to get crazy with the money if he plays well, because I would hope that human decency kicks in and he says,
he's going to give you a little discount from the past?
I guess my thing is I don't think he's going to play well enough to warrant $40, $50 million. Okay. So I think you may be able to get a reasonable deal with him.
All right.
But that's the latest.
I see where it's going.
He is in pole position right now.
His job to lose, perhaps. We come back top of the hour after Sports Update. And who made the biggest jump post-draft? We'll tell you. Rothman Ice on the Fan.
Catch T-Bone and Tyvis weekday mornings from 6 to 9. If you're not completely satisfied, we'll rewind time and erase your brain. Free the Fan.
Hey, it's Austin Ward. Listen to The Beat with Austin and Byrne, now powered by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Get the latest Buckeye news, insights, and unbeatable analysis every day. Don't miss a moment. Stream The Beat with Austin and Byrne, sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
When you saw your heating bills this winter, did you think this is out of control? The problem is your house is leaking money, and the only thing higher than your heating bills are your cooling bills. Steve here from USA Insulation. Let us fix your energy bill problem for good. If you aren't foam insulated, you really aren't insulated. For $99 a month, interest-free, we'll foam your home and help cut those energy bills. 529-2440 or USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Bring your landscape back to life with an unbeatable deal from Ohio Mulch. 5 bags of premium mulch for just $10. You choose from absolute black, brown, or red to make your flowers pop and your curb appeal shine. Whether you're refreshing flower beds or finishing up that weekend project, Ohio Mulch, they have everything you need to make it look like a pro did it.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, cleaner, greener, better.
I'm Jeff Hogan. I've been a journalist at 10 TV for more than 20 years. I moved back to Columbus with my beautiful wife and our 2 amazing daughters and our golden retriever, Harley. This community brought me back because this is where I feel connected. Where my daughters were born, this is my home. And that is to say, I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. What happens here affects us all. And that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still. It moves. It moves you to act, to verify, to volunteer, to speak up or lend a hand. It moves your mind by challenging assumptions and offering new perspectives. It moves you forward by giving you the information to make decisions and thrive where you live. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at 10 TV, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Central Ohio.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing, 614-NEW-ROOF, newmanroofing.com.
Common Man here for Germain Volkswagen. Right now, you get $3,000 over Kelly Blue Book on your trade during the Germain Trade and Upgrade Sales Event at both Germain Volkswagen of Columbus and Germain Volkswagen of Westerville. Plus, during Volkswagen Driver Days, interest rates can't get any lower on the 2026 Volkswagen Atlas and the 2026 Volkswagen Tiguan. Available to qualified customers on approved credit through Volkswagen Financial Services. See dealer for full details. Get started now at GermainVolkswagen.com.
Hey, Central Ohio, it's Andrew from Home Team Solutions. And yes, we buy houses for cash the easy way. We've been buying houses for over 20 years, and we've seen it all. Whether you've inherited a property, you're behind on payments, the house needs work, or just want to avoid the hassle of listing, we've got you covered. No repairs, no clean out, no stress, just a fair cash offer and you pick the closing date. We've helped hundreds of homeowners sell fast and hassle-free, and we're proud to have 5-star reviews all across Central Ohio and an A+ rating with the BBB. If you're ready to sell your house the easy way, call Home Team Solutions at 614-962-SELL. That's 614-962-7355, or visit us online at selltohometeam.com. Home Team Solutions, local, trusted, and family-owned. Again, that's 614-962-SELL. 614-962-7355 or selltohometeam.com.
Alan Parsons Live Project, celebrating 50 years of the debut album, Tales of Mystery and Imagination. Saturday, July 25th, 8 p.m., Columbus Commons. An unforgettable night with the Alan Parsons Live Project. On sale now at picnicwiththepops.com. The 50th anniversary of Tales of Mystery and Imagination. Live. Presented by Nationwide Picnic with the Pops.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good afternoon, I'm Isaiah Jacob. The NBA has begun discussions with all 30 general managers about a new anti-tanking draft reform termed the 3-2-1 lottery that includes expanding the lottery to 16 teams, flatten odds, and a relegation zone where the bottom 3 teams will be penalized with fewer lottery balls for the number 1 pick. In NBA action, the Cavaliers continue their first-round series with the Toronto Raptors at 7:30. The Cavs back at home after dropping games 3 and 4 on the road, tying the series at 2-2. In baseball, the Guardians are prepping for first pitch at 1:10, taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Gavin Williams will be on the mound for Cleveland. Down in Cincinnati, the Reds hosting at 6:40 against the Colorado Rockies. Brandon Williams will be pitching for Cincy. This update was sponsored by the RCD RV Supercenter in Heath, Delaware, and Pataskla, or at rcdrv.com.
You're listening to Roastman and the Icebreaker right here on 97.1, the Fanification.
Thank you, Prez. All right. Second hour of the program. Ins and outs this hour. Keith Smart, NBA for Spotrac at 1:30. Lottery ping pong ball debacle.
Biggest game of the year for the Cavs tonight. This is it.
Biggest game of the year.
I think it is, AR. Coming home, tied 2-2. This is a massive game tonight.
Are you saying
say it
to put all of the Rothman and Ice slush fund on the Cavs? The problem is, would we lay the 8.5?
I don't feel good about that after watching those 2 games up there in Toronto. I don't.
What if we parlayed them this way? You just said the Cavs' biggest game of the year.
I think it is.
What if? And I'll do the computing on this in a little bit.
Okay.
What if we go into the Pistons' absolute must win at home, parlay that on a money line with the Cavs, and see how close we can get? To something that we can live with.
The Magic are up there in Detroit tonight, up 3-1. Doesn't look like Franz Wagner's going to play. So that opens a little bit more wiggle room for the old Pistons.
What about Hans? Is he playing or just Franz?
I believe it's just Franz, and you may see his bro, too. Both
Hans
Wagner.
and Franz.
But, yeah, they...
to pump you up. All right. Let me get to this NBA computation.
Yeah.
Pistons money line, Cavs money line. It's not enough.
What's the juice?
Yeah, minus 175. That's not going to do it for us. Unless you want to go trips to win. Lakers at home.
I do like that. Closeout game.
That gets us to plus 143. All home teams just win, baby.
Let's run it. Austin Reeves should be back tonight for the Lakers. No KD.
They close out the Rockets.
Yep.
The Cavs win a big one at home. And the Pistons win a must game or their season's toast.
I'm in.
That's plus 143.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
If we don't win, will just work tomorrow. That's all.
And complain.
That's all it is. All right, I got it in there.
Okay.
All right, let's get to post-draft and who made a move here. So a lot of the offseason overhauls are in, and kind of predicting which draft pick from every team will have the best rookie season. We'll do that a little bit with Dave Richard. By the way, I forgot to tell people we are going to have Dave Richard.
Oh, yeah.
On the program at 2:30, fantasy football for CBS HQ.
Yeah, the domino
Who's the number one pick this year?
So I've got the 1-1.
You got the 1-1.
I'm in a half point or whole point. What league am I in?
You're in our league,
half
which
point
I'm
PPR.
probably going to bail out of this year.
No.
And then I would say, so I had Jahmyr Gibbs last year. Now he's running solo.
Mm-hmm.
I could easily see myself leaning that way.
They're going to run him into the ground, aren't they?
Well, run him to the ground, throw him into the ground, whatever it takes.
They picked up his fifth-year option. I did see that. But it'll be interesting whether or not they get a contract done with him prior to this season. Because if I'm Gibbs, I'm talking to my agent like, we need to get this deal done now.
Yeah, don't kill me this season. And
and then try to figure out a deal. Like, we got to get this thing done ASAP.
Well, we'll ask him, too, about Jeremiah Love and Carnell Tate and some others on whether you should, Kenyon Sadiq.
Oh, yeah.
On whether you should draft these guys, mid to early in your drafts this year.
You brought up the two names, though, that I think are going to be very high up, for a lot of people when it comes to fantasy. Like, I'd be all in on Gibbs. Like, Isaiah Pacheco's there now. I don't think he's going to have the same impact that David Montgomery did as kind of the 1B. I'd be surprised based off what we've seen from Isaiah the last couple of years in Kansas City. But Gibbs, for me,
So
that's the guy.
Yeah, and for me, I'll be honest, I always lean running back. Always, especially a pass-catching running back. But I could see Jamar Chase being right there in the top three.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting.
The mystery one would be Puka.
Yeah. I mean,
JSN?
Yeah.
Couldn't draft him one, but
you could. I think you could.
Full PPR?
Yeah.
Yeah, full PPR.
Not mad at that.
Yeah.
Not mad at half point either. I'm really not. But I think the amount of targets that he's going to get. Puka, I guess the concern would be how afraid are you as a fantasy owner, maybe even the Rams, of all the stuff that's happening off the field. If that's quieted down come draft season and as we approach the new league year or week one and all that, and I think you're comfortable with what you're getting from Puka. So he's a monster on the field.
All right, let's take a look at post-draft. TLC, I think you have some odds here, don't you? On divisions?
I do.
That sort of thing?
That sort of thing.
Anything
odds thing that's going on.
That's right. Anything that jump out at you? Because let's go through the AFC.
All right. Well, we can start in the North since that's where all of our favorite teams are. Well, except for Rothman, but,
So I think the question...
Me, Ice, and all of our listeners.
Because his AFC team, as we know, is the Bills. That's his...
Well, yes, kind of. Yeah, you're probably right.
The underdog.
I was going to say maybe
they're not that poverty.
I'd say maybe it's, now going to the Raiders a little bit. Who knows?
Oh, Mendoza. Okay,
Yeah.
Following him out there to the desert.
All right.
Gifting T-shirts. Re-gifting, I might add.
We learned this yesterday. I think we flushed this out. It's not a re-gift if you originally bought it. Now, I'm not saying, you know what I mean? Because the re-gift is you received it and re-gifted it.
Here's an important question at the presser I did not ask you yesterday. Have you ever worn the shirt that you gave?
It's got a tag on
it. Oh, no, I didn't,
No.
Maybe you tried it on.
No. I didn't try it on, and it's got a tag on it, and you're more than welcome to wash it if you want beforehand.
I do that with anything that I buy, though, from the store. Like if I buy some new towels or some new sheets for my bed. Like,
well, for sure. You
got to wash all that stuff, too.
Get those softened up. No, that T-shirt was a beauty.
No, I'm going to rock it to the gym later.
I'm not saying it wasn't a good question to ask, but with the tag on it,
Oh, if you're like,
hey, I tucked it
see
in.
how this thing fits.
He was going to return it later. Wore it a couple times.
All right, TLC, the AFC North odds coming out of the draft.
Rank them 1 through 4.
Cincinnati 1. Well,
it's got to. I think it's
Ravens.
Yeah, I think we're looking at probably how we felt about last year's stacking up of this division again this year. For me, like Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns.
Could this go from first to last? Could the Steelers have gone from first to last in the AFC North.
I don't
post-draft feeling.
don't think so.
Really?
I'm going to go Ravens, Bengals,
What
Steelers,
if Rodgers
Browns.
doesn't come back?
Well, it's a good question.
And even if he does, I'm actually taking them from the penthouse to the outhouse.
So you think they're last in the odds right now, coming out of the draft?
I know they won't be, but in my mind they are.
Interesting. So you think the Browns are going to have a better year than the Steelers?
Cincy, Browns, Steelers.
You think the Browns are better set up right now for a more successful season?
What
than
I just
Pittsburgh?
heard from Deshaun of the Dead?
You're in. That's all you needed. Couple paragraphs of Mary Kay
That's all I needed.
All right, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
If I told you that 1 and 2 were decently close, 3 was a distant third, and 4th was a even more distant 4th, would that change anything?
History would tell me that the Browns are the distant 4th, just on history.
Yeah, probably.
And the Steelers just won the division. So that's why I told you, in my mind, that's the way I have it. But I don't think the odds are going to have it this way. I think it's going to go Baltimore, then Cincinnati, then Pittsburgh, a distant third, and then the distant 4th would be still Browns can't get out from their own history, according to the odds. But in my mind, I'd have the Steelers below the Browns right now, not knowing what their quarterback situation could be, if anything.
At minus 120, the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay, got that.
At plus 190, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay, I like the value.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are plus 600. And at plus 1,900, the Cleveland Clowns.
All right. I mean, they were 5 wins apart last year. And I understand the Steelers are always there.
But Deshaun's going to save them.
Well, not save them, but bring them closer to you.
Just like the Dinger draft, just don't get last.
That's right. Who takes who out to dinner in this division?
Oh, man. You got me kind of caught up on this whole no Aaron Rodgers for Pittsburgh.
And combined with, say it, Deshaun of the Dead.
Who in this scenario is playing quarterback for Pittsburgh?
Doesn't matter.
No, give me a quarterback, though. One of the 3.
Aller.
Oh. If it was Will or Mason, I would have rolled with the Steelers, but I would probably feel better about the Browns.
Like you would. Now you're with me. That's right. You would feel better. If it's Will Howard or Drew Aller versus Deshaun.
If it's Drew.
You don't know anything about Will either.
I just feel better about him being in the league for a year and all that type of stuff.
Okay.
Nothing really that I should really be digging in on, but I would feel a little bit better about that.
What about if Rodgers comes back?
Then it's the Steelers for me. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Man,
You're in on Deshaun.
No, I'm lesser in on the Steelers.
Which is surprising because Rodgers is kind of your guy. He's kind of your guy.
No.
As a Viking fan, you gain a lot of respect and love for him.
That's it.
And I think he's been was at least
he was
one drive.
In his prime, if I had one drive.
He was your guy. Yeah.
In his prime.
Then it was Tannehill.
Yes. Till he threw that pick against Cincinnati. Blew the whole game. All right. We're going to come back. Maybe you'll filter a few more of these in ins and outs, and we'll see if we are in or out. That's next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The Reds are on the radio!
Swung on, crushed, high, deep, left field, there it goes. A 3-run go-ahead blast for Eugenio Suarez. They're waving around Friedel, up throwing Anthony, throw to the plate, not in time, and the Reds walk it off at 11, 6-5.
The quest for October baseball is underway. Hear all the action all season long on your home of the Reds.
Relax and let Kroger Delivery handle your grocery shopping this week. We start with only the freshest items, then carefully pack your order in our refrigerated trucks. And our cool trucks keep your food fresh right to your door. Fresh groceries your way with Kroger Delivery. Get free delivery during online deal days, plus $30 off your first online order. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey, it's Austin Ward with a unique opportunity for you. The chance to drop 40 pounds by the 4th with Awaken 180. Fast results, sustainable results, medication-free, and free support for life. 40 by the 4th. This is your year. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Every year, tens of thousands in Central Ohio choose Columbus State Community College to start what's next. They're earning degrees that open doors to in-demand jobs, stable careers, and real earning power. They're bridging the gap to an affordable university bachelor's degree, avoiding the trap of student loan debt, and moving their lives and our community forward. Columbus State is making Central Ohio stronger. Apply today at cscc.edu.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I talk to you about Weed Man every year. Why? Simple. Number one, I use it. Number two, it works. You want to get those lawn roots thick, baby, because when that happens, they resist weeds, disease, and insects, and they're using top-of-the-line stuff. We're talking golf course quality. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will take care of you. Proudly serving Central Ohio and our Dayton friends. Call your local office, 614-733-3747, weedman.com.
No way. Gas prices shot up again.
I know, but I got us covered.
So generous. What's your deal?
What's my deal? I went to Metro and saved. Got 4 lines for just $25 each and 4 free new Samsung Galaxy A17 5G phones and all on the T-Mobile network.
How about we go to Metro today?
Get that more for your money feeling. Visit your Metro by T-Mobile store. Just bring your numbers. Net available if you've been with Metro or T-Mobile in the past 180 days.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing. 614-NEW-ROOF. NewmanRoofing.com.
Who's Vice President J.D. Vance's pick for Ohio Treasurer? America First conservative Jay Edwards. As the first state lawmaker to endorse Donald Trump for president, Jay Edwards has been on the front lines, standing up to the rhinos and leftists since day one. Now, we need a MAGA fighter who protects our Ohio tax dollars as our treasurer. And that's what Jay Edwards has always done. He sponsored the largest tax cut in Ohio history, saving families over $3.1 billion. Jay Edwards has never been afraid to do what's right and fight for our values. That's why he's a 100% pro-life and 100% pro-gun conservative, earning the highest possible rating from Ohio gun owners. He's the proven America First leader we need to clean up fraud and keep our money safe. Endorsed by J.D. Vance. Jay Edwards for Ohio Treasurer.
Paid for by Friends of Jay Edwards.
Think you know Buckeye football? These two say, hold my beer. The Beat with Austin and Berm.
Sponsored by the Waterworks.
Daily on the Fan's YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll still see some chances of isolated showers and thunderstorms on and off throughout the day. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and cooler with highs only in the low 60s. We turn mostly cloudy tonight with lows down into the 40s. And then for Thursday, mostly sunny but much cooler with highs only in the mid to upper 50s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Catch the latest from the world of Ohio State athletics. Weeknights at 6 on the Buckeye Show. News, special guests, and everything scarlet and gray. The Fan. Rothman and Ice present In or Out.
Just a little of the old in and out.
All right, TLC. What do you got?
All right, are you in or out on sitting in the upper deck in the shade at a baseball game instead of sitting in great seats that are in the sun?
I love this question because this is something that I would think about, honestly. Because I've been to a couple Reds games to where it's been a 1 o'clock, 4:10-ish type start in June or July, and it's brutal. And it's all I can think about. Is how hot I am, and I'm sweating and all that. So I think I would go up top. I think I would go up top to the shade AR and chill out up there.
What row in the upper deck?
In the upper deck, does it matter?
I think so.
Like first row of the upper
first
deck?
Row upper deck, I'll take that all day.
Whatever you're comfortable. Wherever the shade
Whatever
is.
that makes you comfortable.
Well, some people don't want to sit in the front row of the upper deck because of heights. Because you're looking straight down, and it's like, whoa.
You got a little fear of heights, don't you? A little bit of that.
Not in a baseball stadium. I
are you going to make
I'm
any
not
effort?
going to lean over for a foul
That's what I was
ball.
going to ask.
Like,
any effort for foul ball.
I'll let that guy at the Guardians game have it.
Okay, what was that? Like, what are we doing?
He saw the error of his ways after social media told him about it.
And good on the Rays, I believe. They're one of their media guys.
Yeah.
Brought her a ball and all that. But you can't be a grown man.
Wait, what happened? I didn't even see it.
So there
there was a dude in the
home run hit the left field.
First of all, he had his chance. He botched the home run. He drops the home run. Rick O'Shea's over to the left. And then he's caught up in the moment. I don't know if he knew that he was fighting over it with a
11-year-old girl or something like that, yeah.
Takes the ball, goes back to his seat. His mom or whoever's with him is like applauding, and then she has to take the 3-step walk back to her family and go, oh, well.
Horrible look for that guy.
Yeah.
Why did Mark the Shark do that?
Exactly. I don't know.
Did he lean over to his left into your seat?
He stepped over. He took 1/2 step over.
It's just never that serious as a grown-up. It's just it's unless it is a historical home run.
Wait a minute.
Then I'm kind of like,
wait a minute.
I get it.
Wow.
If it's a historical home run,
oh, come on.
I'm kind of like, I understand it. But this is some rando home run. No, you got to let the kids have their moment.
If it's game 5 of an ALCS and Jim Tomei hits a ball out of the stadium and Maddie's somehow transported back in time and you're there and there's an 11-year-old girl that you're...
I'm
now
bodying
it's
kids.
okay?
Yeah, I'm bodying kids for that.
This is
for
new
the
news
cash.
for this show.
For the cash, I'm bodying kids. You got to get
And
you
when
get out of my
Tomei
way.
asks to trade it for a bat and a jersey,
No.
you say, get out of here.
Move around, Jim.
I'm the guy that would catch a baseball and I would give it to the 6-year-old next to me only because I know the camera's on me.
But if it's like Shohei Ohtani's 400th home run or something like that,
then it's every man, woman, and child for themselves?
100%.
Get the hell out of here.
No doubt. I need that
This
bag.
is new news for me.
I need that bag.
I thought he was all about it's not never about that.
Never? All right, Rothman.
Yeah.
It's Barry Bonds' 756th.
Yeah, you're throwing bows with kids to get to that ball.
If you want to see a swarm like never before, go watch the
How
highlight
much was
of Barry.
that ball worth?
That's a good question. I don't know how much it went for. I mean, you're also
But you
the
don't
guy.
know that in the moment either. I'm asking you to make a momentary decision.
You kind of know.
You
so
kinda
Barry
know.
Bonds' record-breaking 756th, which surpassed Hammer and Hank. Hank's the true champ. For $752,000 in an online auction.
Okay, but you don't even know that in the moment, so you
was-
can't.
You don't know that figure, but you can do the Maddie math on it and assume that it's going to be worth something.
Nice little come up.
Dude, there's a swarm like no other in that highlight. If you go
Maddie
watch that
may
on
be onto
YouTube, Barry
something.
Bonds hitting that home run, the dog pile of fans reaching for that baseball. It's like something you've
I don't
never
think
seen
an
before.
11-year-old girl would be in that mix
She-
anyway.
I hope not.
I would hope no parent would allow. Like, I don't see that. You're probably just fighting amongst people at your own skill level.
That would make me feel better. Go ahead, TLC.
I was going to say, if you're a parent in that moment and you take your kid to the game and you sit in the outfield seats, you got to think once you reach your seats, oh no, if the ball's hit here, my child's in trouble.
First of all, if I'm sitting in the outfield for that game, the Bonds game,
yeah,
I am bringing my glove.
You know what? It's so funny you mentioned that because that was going to be
Change the
another
rules.
exception to my rule. For that game,
oh, no question.
I'm bringing my glove.
73rd home run, 756,
Yeah.
whatever,
No doubt.
500th home run.
No question I'm bringing my glove for that. So I'm alone in this?
Flash the leather.
You guys aren't dunking on little kids for that baseball? I can't
For
be alone.
756? Heck yeah, I
I'm
am.
not going to injure somebody to get it. I think he's talking about...
I might hit him with the Heisman. Might mush a little kid out the way.
I would do more.
It's a lot of money.
I wouldn't shove a kid. I might throw like an arm bar so like they can't get past it.
What looked like shoving, what looked like pushing down.
An arm bar. Set a good pick or something.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm gonna go set a screen for my friend.
A pick. We could be in on it together.
Exactly.
Split the money.
I'd
All right,
be
you get
in.
a hard pick at the top of the circle here.
See, now you're kind of seeing the vision.
Now, I am seeing the vision of being caught up in the moment because at the moment, you don't know who's really next to you. When he botched the fly ball, the home run ball, and it was on the ground going that way, I don't think he knew that he was purposely stealing it from an 11-year-old girl. I don't.
What about the moments after that? Where
Later on, once he
like,
got on his phone and he didn't even look back to the left, he saw the error of his ways. But I'm kind of with you, like in the moment, if it's a ball that might be worth $500,000, then I assume I'm not fighting with little girls over it.
What about a little kid boy?
Even that, same thing. Anything under the age of 14, I'm probably feeling guilty.
It ain't that much better if you say, hey, he was a freshman.
Well, that's where do you cut the line? All right, maybe we lower that age.
I think it's a height. I think it's a height thing, honestly.
Oh, those are the ones you got to watch out for because they're lower to the ground.
Yeah.
They got better access.
Yeah, by the way,
ball.
they're much more flexible.
I'm saying if it's like a freshman who hasn't hit puberty yet and is like 5'6" versus a freshman that's already like growing facial hair and.
Oh, listen, I'm going full Terry Tate office linebacker on anybody in that area for that baseball. And I know I'm not alone in this because you think about the money, AR. Can't pass up on it. You can't. I'll deal with the guilt.
I know you were always the cash versus memorabilia guy.
No question.
Like if Shohei said to you, hey, signed jersey, signed bat, picture with me, tickets to any game you want, I'm pitching, you're behind home plate, like
I'm
all
good
that.
I'm good on
Mary Hart, you can take a hike.
The materialistic stuff for a player like him, I would seriously have to think about. Because that jersey in time.
Because you can sit on it.
Yeah.
With what I think and what we think he's going to be.
Might eventually turn it. But the ball, though.
Yeah.
Anything that's specific to that moment is worth a lot more.
And I could just hold out on the baseball for a while, too.
Anything game, if it's the game, I'll tell you this. The game used jersey from that moment.
Okay.
Whether it was the home run, a pitching moment.
Yeah.
Now you got something.
Uh-huh.
But it's got to be game soiled. That's the difference.
Yeah, if they came to me with tickets in the front, no. That's
How about
a couple hours of my life. I need something that's going to last a little bit, you know? Something I can invest in.
Turn it into cash.
What if you were retired and they offered you season tickets and you're like, sweet, I know how I'm spending all my summers now. It's like, I didn't have anything to do, but now I have plans.
It's a good proposal.
He does it.
That's
He
a good
does it
proposal.
down in Cincinnati. You catch it.
Okay.
And you say to him, well, I'm a big Reds fan. If you can work that out with them, that they can give me lifetime season tickets, you can have your ball back.
The problem is I don't live down there. And I don't know how many times I'm going to be making the trek down there on a Monday or Tuesday to go down and back. So that would lead me towards just give me the money.
Here.
So
you retire in Atlanta, and the Braves give you season tickets, and you know they spend money, so you're going to be watching a good team.
You know how much I love the city of Atlanta. So you're hitting me right in the feels there.
What's that place you like? The Magic place?
Magic City?
Yeah. Maybe they give you a lifetime pass.
Endless amount of ones when I walk into
Just
Magic
a lifetime
City?
pass. A rubber band around some ones.
I still want the money. I still want the money.
All right, this exact situation.
So throw at Magic City.
So you're telling me this exact situation that happened with the Guardians.
Yeah.
Exact situation. But that ball is a milestone ball. All bets are off?
Yes. For me, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
He didn't push her out of the way. She didn't fall down.
No.
He just scrambled and got it.
And I would do my best to not push a kid, but there may be a little physicality if needed. That's all I'm saying. I got to get to that baseball.
Did you see the dude at the Rockies game who tried to like Odell a ball that was ricocheting around and like literally like because it was hit over his head, then bounced back, and so he's turned around, and so he tries to Odell the thing and like falls into sections behind him.
We may have to throw out a
what a commitment.
You guys were on me though for that Philly situation where you
At
said
the Marlins game.
You said that, like that woman who was complaining went over and kind of,
ripped the guy
because it was right at her. It dropped at her feet, and then he came over and sniped it, and it was right there. And you guys were like, "Oh, she's the one that looks bad for complaining."
I didn't appreciate the amount of energy and time that she spent going over and ripping that guy. You're a grown woman.
That wasn't somebody right next to you.
Ball, I don't
she
think.
has to go walk over to him.
Yeah.
And she also, that's on her for being uncoordinated, not picking up a ball that's sitting right there.
I think you guys are playing the moment. Like different moments have different rules.
But you're also the guy that mossed a couple kids at the Blue Jackets game for T-shirts.
That's erroneous again.
To give me
Why
your
am
dogs?
I getting caught up in this?
Let Tito tell it. That's what happened.
Yeah. Believe him.
That's what you get for starting his
Anything
career.
that comes out of his mouth. All right, we're coming back. Yeah, exactly. I can't win for losing. Keith Smart, the NBA lottery, is this going to work? We've got some questions about the new anti-tanking laws. We'll get to that next. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
I'm Brian Albizu, traffic anchor for 10 TV News this morning. Columbus is quickly becoming my home, and this community has welcomed me with open arms. My mission is simple, to help you get to where you're going quickly and safely. Whether it's helping you beat the slowdown on 270 or giving you detours around major construction, we've got you covered. Because when your morning's on the move, so are we. Make the move to 10 TV News this morning, weekdays from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
I've been playing sports all my life. Little football, basketball, pickleball, cross training, mud events, Spartan races and things like that.
For Dr. Eric Williams, a successful chiropractor, staying active means everything. So when nagging knee pain slowed him down, he didn't want drugs or invasive surgery. He found a natural way to get lasting relief. QC Kinetics Cellular Therapies.
We're using my body's natural abilities to get better. And that's huge. In time, that's going to be the way of the future. Using your own body's ability to heal. Now I can play day to day and not have that severe pain.
Now he's back out there doing what he loves, thanks to QC Kinetics.
Life is good. You're not going to slow me down.
Leave the pain behind and get moving. Book your free consultation today with QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Did your HVAC struggle through this rough winter? When it comes to your home comfort, trust the local experts at Columbus Worthington Air. Right now, you can save up to $2,000 on a new HVAC system with our trade-in allowance program. At CWA, we treat your home like it's our own, with safe, reliable service backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Columbus Worthington Air and Bryant Heating and Cooling. Whatever it takes. Visit CWAOhio.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 47543.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Matty is a diehard Reds fan. I mean, where else is he going to go? You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right. After months of debate, the NBA has landed on a lottery reform proposal. They got to get approval of that in late May. But the basics are that you tank, you get a lesser chance of turning around your organization. Our guy that can help us through this and a lot more with the NBA is our friend Keith Smith, contributor to Spotrac, front office show as well, on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Keith, welcome back.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
How do they know that I'm just not a bad team? How do they know I'm doing this on purpose? I mean, because I could just be bad. That happens.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the risk they're taking with this new setup is sometimes teams are just bad. It does happen. And, I think what they're trying to make sure is, hey, we don't want completely unwatchable teams, even bad teams. You could be bad, but you're playing your young guys. You're trying to win, but you're just not getting it done. But they're willing to take that that risk at the expense of, hey, we don't want a bunch of teams like this year. The NBA feels like they had 6, 7, 8 teams that were doing everything they could to try to tank as low as they could get in the draft order. They do not want that moving forward.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. That's a dicey thing, that's for sure. Seems like things are getting a little dicey right now, Keith, for the Cavs as they come home now after 2 games up there in Toronto. The series is even now, at 2-2. So fill in the blanks for us right now is what's been happening in this series and who you think is going to end up the winner in this.
Yeah, I think Cleveland will win. I picked Cleveland in 7 going into the series because I thought Toronto was really going to challenge them. I thought Toronto size, their physicality that they play with. I know the Cavs have the 2 bigs, but the Raptors are fairly big across the board, with the way they line up. And I thought that was going to give them challenges. They're doing a really good job keeping bigger players on Donovan Mitchell. They're making it tough for him to find any kind of room to get going. And James Harden, he's kind of doing what James Harden does in the playoffs, not always playing great and giving them good minutes. So they're going to need more. I think they're going to need more out of the 2 bigs, out of Mobley and Allen. I think they'll play better at home. And then the other thing is Toronto has succeeded in turning these games, at least in Toronto, into a rock fight. They want to play low scoring, slow paced, get out and run when you can, but really we're going to get it down, stuck in the mud, and challenge you to basically outfight us, in these games. And Toronto is succeeding in that.
All right, Keith, how far do they have to go in order to keep this thing together? Because Dan Gilbert, it was like, all right, they don't make the conference finals, then they're not staying together. They flipped Darius Garland for Harden, as you talked about, and how well does this have to work?
Yeah, I think it's at least make a competitive conference finals. And by competitive, I mean maybe you lose to the Celtics or the Knicks in 6 or 7 games. But if it's anything short of that, I think that we're going to see even more changes coming. You cannot be the most expensive team in the league, the only second apron team in the league, in continually bowing out in the first or second round of the playoffs. So you have to eventually start turning these into real runs, and that means, again, competitive conference finals is, probably buys the group another year. But you already saw there's some sense of, all right, we're probably not good enough, so we got to make moves, and that was the Garland move. And I think if they fall short again, we're going to see even more changes coming out of Cleveland.
All right, let's live in that world of changes, and hopefully that's not the case and they can go on a nice run. But if that problem does present itself for the front office, kind of break that down for some realistic options for this Cavs team moving forward, whether it's running it back with Harden or maybe trying to bring in someone else that is a star from another team. What does that pathway look like?
Yeah, I think that James Harden situation is the first conversation you're having. He's going to be 37 years old going into next season. So you're already up against it just time-wise with him. So I think if you're Cleveland, you start to think, all right, do we want to bring him back? I think you want to keep Mitchell and Mobley for sure. Those 2 guys are really good. Those guys are the guys who kind of built this around. But then Jared Allen, I know his extension kicks in next year at $28 million, but you start to have that conversation. All right, are there teams out there who need a center, especially a center who's locked in at what I still think is a fairly fair value moving forward? And then you're going to see them start trimming out of the role players. Dennis Schroeder, Max Strus, Sam Merrill, those guys are, Schroeder and Strus are $15 million, $16 million. And then you got Merrill at about $9 million. You're going to start seeing some trimming coming out of there and backfilling with probably second-round picks, guys who come in through the undrafted ranks, veteran minimum signings, and that's to try to get the payroll in order. But, yeah, it will all start, I think, with James Harden. And do we want to sign up for at least a couple more years of this, or do we want to say, all right, hey, if nothing else, we get out of the long-term money due to Garland, and we're resetting now?
If LeBron decides he's going to continue to play, does Cleveland make sense for Cleveland?
I think so, because this team is built to win right now. This is not a super young core. They're by no means old, but I think people still have this sense of, with Donovan Mitchell, that he is 25. He's going to be 30 next season. So you want to start to look about, all right, how do we maximize with Mitchell. Mobley is, by no means old, but he's turning 25 in a couple months. So you want to be in a position where, we can win now. Now, getting LeBron, that gets really difficult because we all know the challenge is he's a free agent. The Cavs are, very expensive. Is LeBron, are you going to be able to get off some money where you could offer him the non-taxpayer mid-level, or just at least put yourself maybe in a position to make a sign-and trade happen? If you could do those things, then I think you're in a better position to get LeBron, unless LeBron's going to say, you know what, hey, I want to finish out in Cleveland. Give me whatever the most you can offer me is. And if that's the minimum, then it's the minimum, and so be it. But, I definitely think it makes sense for them to go after him.
Keith, do you think we've seen the last of Steve Kerr, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green together out there in Golden State?
It sure feels like it. I think Steve Kerr is kind of saying, hey, if this is it, this is it. I think we've had Draymond Green chime in that he very much feels that it's over. So I think if we haven't, I think we're, maybe we're going to get, another year or two out of Steve Kerr. Personally, I'd love to see them re-sign Steve Kerr, keep Curry, keep Draymond Green. Hey, if they can even bring Klay Thompson back, I think that would kind of write a weird, little piece of history and let those guys all finish together. But it seems like that's not going to be how it goes down in Golden State.
Do you like all the home teams tonight just to win? Cleveland, Detroit, and the Lakers.
Yes. I think Cleveland is going to get a win. I think Detroit is going to play well enough to keep that series alive. And I think the Lakers with LeBron getting Austin Reeves back, I think they are very much in a position where they know the value of let's get this thing finished, because they know the Thunder are already sitting there with their feet up waiting on them, and that's already hard enough. Let's not make it any harder by having to go deep and then probably play with only a day or two in between.
Thank you for co-signing our bet tonight, Keith. Appreciate it.
Good. Well, that just guaranteed you lost.
That's right.
So,
well,
good luck on that.
We won't come after you for any money if it doesn't work. Thanks, my man. Appreciate you jumping on. We'll talk to you throughout the playoffs.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me.
Keith Smith, NBA for Spotrac on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. All right, we dip back into the draft in the Buckeye Bulletin, and a couple tight ends going where they did. Was that a shock or expected? Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We're known for three things: games, conversation, and common man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Tri-State Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. Tri-State Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
This radio station is more than 100 years old. And during that time, absolutely no one has hosted more shows than the Common Man. I don't know why we're bragging about that, but I just read the copy, okay? And then there's Timmy. What can I say about good old Timmy? Well, he's a heck of a guy. All right, let's cut the bull. Common Man and Timmy host a show that'll make you laugh at immature things, overreact to whatever's going on in the world of sports, and probably embarrass themselves in the process. And we love them for it. Common Man and Timmy. Weekdays from 3 to 6 on The Fan.
It's time for the Great Haircut Sale at your local Great Clips salon. Your chance to get a great haircut at an even greater price, just $9.99. And money's not all you'll save at Great Clips. When you use online check-in, you can save time too. So download our app today and hurry in for the $9.99 Great Haircut Sale at Great Clips. It's gonna be great. For a limited time at participating salons.
The $9.99 Great Haircut Sale runs April 25th through May 1st. Visit our Columbus, Ohio area salons.
Ready to make it rain on the court for a great cause? It's the 3v3 Hoops Tournament at Ohio State University RPAC. Saturday, May 2nd from 12 to 4. Hosted by NBA legend Kenny Anderson. Grab your three and let's see who the best trio in Columbus. For your shot at a share of $10,000 in cash. Register now at classicforcolumbus.com. That's classicforcolumbus.com.
Presented by the Franklin County Board of Commissioners, Office of Economic Engagement and Community Development, and America 250 Ohio.
Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
This spring, take a break from interest with 0% financing for up to 60 months on new 2026 Tucsons. 0%. Go now, Columbus or Dublin or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit ends 4/30.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Over 35 years, I've seen it all. Car crashes, work injuries, defective products, medical mistakes, lives flipped upside down in an instant. But I've also seen something else, the power of fighting back, the power of winning. Over $30 billion recovered and counting. Size matters, reputation matters, results matter. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Planning to buy a home in 2026? Not sure where to start? The Ohio Housing Finance Agency can help. With a step-by-step homebuyer's guide and financial tools, the Ohio Housing Finance Agency can make homeownership part of your future. Eligible homebuyers may qualify for down payment assistance and reduced mortgage interest rates. To see if you qualify and to find a mortgage lender, visit myohiohome.org.
In the old days when people lived to be 40, you only had one option for listening to your favorite show. But now, ooh, baby, radio, podcast, the Fan app, and YouTube, ooh, just to name a few, live or on demand. You have no excuses. The Fan.
The Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, home of award-winning pizza and $2 tall boys. All day, every day.
Rothman Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Window Nation. Save up to 50% on new windows from windownation.com.
All right, a little Buckeye Bulletin time. Listen, this is a good time to be a tight end. The NFL just loves them. Athletic ones, inline ones. Certainly, we've seen guys come into this league and make big impacts right away. And I don't know. It feels. Does that feel that way to you?
What do you know about some of those guys that have made an impact right away? Talk to us. You speaking from experience here? Is that what this is?
Well, the Tyler Warren didn't work out great for me because when Daniel Jones went down and they had to go get old man Rivers,
a literal grandpa.
Yeah, that didn't help my fantasy tight end.
But you've got a good eye for it because we've gone from Sam Laporta,
Bowers,
to Brock Bowers, to Tyler Warren, to this year. Who's it gonna be?
Well,
Kenyon Siddiq.
Well, that's everybody's pick. Yeah, that would make sense. Yep.
We're gonna
Where you have to get him, I don't know. I'll ask.
We got Dave
Richard
coming up at 2:30 from CBS Sports, who covers fantasy. I want to ask him about Fannin too, since we're talking about tight ends. Where's he stacking up for him? He was going crazy.
You can only play one in fantasy, right? It's not so.
Certain leagues you got a couple flexes, maybe you can, but usually, to your point, yeah, it's only one.
All right, so Keenan Bailey, who's been at Ohio State for a while now, was promoted to tight ends coach several years ago by Ryan Day, and he's done a great job. He's been with this program, helped develop a lot of dudes that have set records here at Ohio State, and I think Ryan Day feels he's an excellent coach. Let's go through a little bit of the tight end situation. You guys have the teams.
So Max Clare, Cincinnati St. X guy, he was drafted in the second round by the Rams. That tells me a lot.
Exactly.
That McVay's got a vision for him right now. And if you're Max Clare, that's a beautiful thing because at least for 1 year, you know I'm going to have opportunity just based off of draft capital. Usually that's just how it usually works, right? Those guys, first, second round picks are going to get a lot of cracks at it. But it's also, I got the reigning MVP throwing me the rock inside of an offense to where I know there's two dudes on the outside that are going to demand a lot of respect and attention, and Devontae Adams and Puka. And so I think Max Clare is going into a great situation with coach, quarterback, L.A., all of it. That's awesome for him.
I'm just now remembering they drafted Terrence Ferguson last year, didn't they?
Out of Oregon, yeah.
Huh, that's a problem. Is Tyler Higbee still there?
It's a good question. Let me see.
Let's hear from Keenan Bailey if he thought Claire and Kaczmarek were going in the first 3 rounds.
I've always said I thought we had the best blocking and then the best receiving tight end in the country. I thought we had the best room in the country top to bottom. And, this was more just validation. Now, I'm hearing it from people like, wow, you guys had a great one. I'm like our last game was several months ago. Like, we played every game last fall. So I'm glad that it kind of validates what I believed in and was so adamant about. But, yeah, a little bit nervous for those guys. I just want, I don't want them to be all stressed about it. But super happy how it turned out.
Should be, because he was right up there. The Kaczmarek one, maybe not as much as what people thought. So that's a pretty cool thing for them.
Will went to Miami, correct? I think Will Kaczmarek ended up with the Miami Dolphins, and he was, I believe, a 3rd-round pick. So it's crazy, right? Like, we sit here and we watch these games on Saturdays with Ohio State, and the tight end position, they can ebb and flow, peak and valley as far as their production. It's not because they're not good players. It's because on a program like this, there are a ton of mouths to feed, and one of the biggest mouths to feed in Jeremiah Smith the last couple of years. And so the league looking at them and through that lens and in that type of light, I think is awesome if you're Keenan Bailey, and kind of speaks to the coaching that they're getting and some of the things that maybe we don't recognize all the time just sitting on our couch or at the bar watching games. But NFL scouts and GMs are turning on the film and seeing these Ohio State tight ends do things that they believe are going to translate to some good things on Thursdays, Saturdays, and Mondays. Thursdays, Sundays, and Mondays.
Here's Keenan on the shift to bigger personnel.
The game and the different personnels you could use is the way the game's going. And why I say that is, like, you listen to who's the brightest guy, on offense, in the NFL, I don't know, Shanahan, McVay, both of those guys always talk about the different personnels you could use, right? And, like, if you could only pass it out of 11 and only run it at heavy sets, it's like you're pretty one-dimensional. But if you could all of a sudden, like, the reason why I think Coach McVay's been so good is he gets an 11 and those guys – run the ball, and then he gets big and they pass. Like, what's the hardest thing people do when he says is mixed use of personnel. So whether it's 12, 13, 10, 21, like, if you could have guys who could do multiple things, like that's the way that the game's going, I think.
Versatility, right? Route running, big enough to be a chess piece you can move around. That's it. And when you have the size these guys have, they can be an inline blocker too. And now, that'll be interesting with Claire to see what they want to do with him there. But he definitely has the size and all the physical tools to develop into a good all-around tight end. That's why they got him. He was a round 3 player for most people.
We mentioned a few of the tight end options that McVay has. Maybe he does look at a Tyler Higbee or Ferguson as guys that can do one thing and Max Clare can do another, right? And that kind of leans into what Coach Bailey was talking about, where it's like, man, we got optionality everywhere. And that's, of course, what you want as a coach. He's so right about that. And so, yeah, Max Clare coming in from Purdue, highly touted, coming out of the portal, did some good things here last year. Now I think he's got a chance to be their tight end of the future out there in L.A.
All right, the other guy that I want to hear from him on is probably, and we're going away from size here as much. I mean, I shouldn't say that. He's a fairly big dude. But Joe Royer going to the Browns, round 5, pick 30 out of Cincinnati. Let's hear on Joe.
I'm just as close to Joe as to Will and to Max, and I claim him wholeheartedly. Not at development. I think Coach Schefter did a great job there at Cincinnati with him, but I was just as proud, and probably even a little bit more emotional patient I when he got that call, even then. With Max and Will, just because what he had to go through to get to that point. But man, we are so excited of all 3 guys. Like you said it. Like I don't view this draft like I had 2 guys taken. I feel like I got 3 of my guys up there.
Good for him. Some of these guys will be scheme dependent. Some of these guys maybe were H-back and get creative and ways you can use them. But I go back to my original point that the NFL just keeps loving that position.
They do. And, for Royer, kind of what it is when you go into Cleveland. Fan is going to get a lot of work coming his way, but there's no David Njoku anymore, right? And so you've got your chance to carve out a path that way too, and be the 1B in the tight end room, and hopefully make some noise there.
All right, that is today's Buckeye Bulletin. All right, we get into another reform, and this one coming from college basketball. The humongous dance and where this thing is going. Does it help Ohio State? We'll examine it next. Rothman Ice and the Fan.
No hot takes, no dancing, plenty of stupid. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
I'm Yolanda Harris. I'm a journalist at 10 TV News. I grew up here, and after 25 years of telling this community's stories, this place still means so much to me. When I'm not in the newsroom, I'm usually out supporting the same people and causes I care deeply about. I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. What happens here affects us all. And that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still. It moves. It moves you to act, to verify, to volunteer, to speak up, or lend a hand. It moves your mind by challenging assumptions and offering new perspectives. It moves you forward by giving you the information to make decisions and thrive where you live. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at 10 TV, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Central Ohio.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
Common Man here for GoGermain.com. I have been telling you about my friends at Germain for a long time, and it's because they bring the goods. And right now, you get $3,000 over Kelley Blue Book on your trade during the Germain Trade and Upgrade Sales Event. Yes, cue the trumpets. Nearly 4,000 new and pre-owned vehicles, plus an extra $3,000 on your trade means your budget goes further. And with their $1,000 price promise, no one's going to sell you a car for less. Get started now at GoGermain.com.
With over 33 years of experience, Newman Roofing has become a household name in Central Ohio. Voted best roofing company 4 years in a row, Newman Roofing delivers a white glove experience every time. When it comes to your roof, call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com today.
Whoa. Okay, this one says you get a free phone if you switch. Hey, this one also says you get a free phone if you switch.
Yeah, they all do, hon.
Wait. The T-Mobile one says families saved over $3,700 versus the other big guys in the past 5 years. And their experience plans have Netflix included, plus a year of Dash Pass by DoorDash.
Hang on, let me see that. And a 5-year price guarantee? Oh yeah, we're switching.
That's what I'm talking about. Do we clap now, or?
I'm thinking high five.
At T-Mobile, get savings that keep stacking up. That's value you can feel every day. Switch now at T-Mobile.
Savings based on Harris X billing snapshots from Q3 2021 to Q4 2025 among accounts with 3+ voice lines compared to AT&T and Verizon, excluding discounts, credits, and optional charges. See harrisx.com/T-Mobile. Price guarantee on talk, text, and data. Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 5.99% APR, 6.02% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Listen, at some point you stopped calling it pain. You just started calling it, well, this is just how I am now. Deep down, you know it's not okay, but you want to get back to the normal you, not this new normal you've been living with. Well, there's a place you can do it, and there's a guy that can help you out. Dr. Ray Tesner and his team at QC Kinetics and their regenerative treatments for joint pain located in Dublin and Gahanna. They can help you out. They helped me out. They helped out my father. They're going to help you with whatever joint pain that you have. They're going to come in with this arthritis in a knee, a hip, a shoulder, a back. You can't move. You don't sleep as well. You want to get back to golfing and running, and you don't want to have surgery or a long recovery. The science is real. The treatments are natural. Your body knows how to heal itself. Let QC Kinetics get the tools to your body to help it get better. No operating room, no hardware, and you can get out this summer and have a good time. So listen, the longer it lasts, you need to get it taken care of. So go to qckinetics.com/Columbus or go to 380-208-4544.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good afternoon, I'm Isaiah Jacob. The NBA has begun discussions with all 30 general managers about a new anti-tanking draft reform termed the 3-2-1 lottery. That includes expanding the lottery to 16 teams, flattened odds, and a relegation zone where the bottom 3 teams will be penalized with fewer lottery balls for the number 1 pick. They are expected to vote on this May 28th. In NBA action, the Cavaliers continue their first-round series with the Toronto Raptors at 7:30. The Cavs back at home after dropping games 3 and 4 on the road, tying the series at 2-2. In baseball, the Guardians are currently under a rain delay. First pitch has now been pushed to 2:30. Gavin Williams will be on the mound for Cleveland facing the Tampa Bay Rays. The Reds hosting tonight at 6:40 against the Colorado Rockies. And then this update was sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and Ice feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, final hour of the program. Rothman and Ice, Dave Richard. Fantasy football CBS at 2:30. We'll try to predict who will be the number 1 pick. I think we got it zeroed in.
It just depends on what makes you feel good. Some people are in the camp of, I'm good with a wide receiver. In this era that we're living in and all the targets going around and all the points being scored, you get a Jamar, Puka, JSN. It's really, you can't really push back on it, right? You feel more comfortable with the running back. It's kind of been your thing.
High floor.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Receivers are getting in the end zone. Maybe even more than running backs. You get vultured. You got a running back on a team that likes to play action at the end zone, tight ends, likes to run their quarterback in. I don't want any of those running backs. But I also have been the guy that knows that that position gets thin. And it's nice. And I also like to play a running back in the flex. It may have cost me titles over the years. I don't know. It probably has. But I feel like I'm always there.
You really are.
And that's the fun part of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at, see, the big thing for me is the pass catching running backs. And there aren't a ton they're going to do it to an amazing level. If you can find, like Christian McCaffrey. Like, the thing with CMC is always just fighting how healthy he's going to be.
You don't have to question the volume.
102 catches?
It's ridiculous.
For a running back?
And last year was perfect because you had the Kittle injury and you had the Ayuk stuff going on. And where else was Purdy and Mac Jones going to go?
Plus, he's always going to get in the end zone. That's like his thing.
Yeah. Oh, like you look at anytime touchdowns for him.
Always.
No value. Like Vegas is saying it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So the dream, I think, for me when it comes to running back is trying to find a guy that doesn't have that running back that's nipping at his heels and eating off his plate. Those guys are kind of few and far between now. There aren't a ton of those guys in the NFL anymore.
Bijan caught 79 passes.
Yeah.
How do you pass that up?
You a little worried at all about new offense, new quarterback, new head coach? Stefanski, you can't really screw that up. We've seen Stefanski's offenses. He doesn't mind running the rock at all. He's a head coach I'm fascinated by this year, by the way. 2-time coach of the year, going down to Hotlanta where there's some pretty good weapons, but for sure questions at quarterback. Be interesting to see. Exactly. what he can cook up.
The other reason, and I've looked at this too, is that Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs were vultured a little bit touchdown-wise.
Algier, Montgomery.
Yeah. And now with Montgomery gone, because Jahmyr caught 77 passes for me last year. It was fine. It just, and I've said this on the air many times, inside the 10, he was nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
They just didn't give him the ball.
Montgomery, he was a little bit more the thumper.
A little more the hammer.
Yeah.
Now, the one day I think I came on about, we were talking about, I had that bet that I was going to cash out on whether Jahmyr would score. And it was going well. I think it was a Monday night or a Thursday night. And then he hit that like 80-yarder. And it was the worst nightmare because I kept saying to you guys, the only way he does score is if it's outside the 15 or 20-yard line, where he just catches a seam and goes. It's exactly what happened that night. But he's not the goal line, Derrick Henry, getting the ball, he's going to score.
That's what's going to be interesting about this year, right, is to see if he has that in his bag. I think he does. I'm just worried about his money.
Yeah. And the physical and the the abuse he's going to take.
For sure.
Yeah.
He's a one-of-one type of guy. I'd pay him. I wouldn't have a problem paying him top of the market running back money at all over the next 3 or 4 years.
All right, honest opinion, when you heard the news that the NCAA tournament was expanding.
You knew how I felt.
But
I'm annoyed.
From 68 to 76, though, it doesn't